everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. All right, today's topic is, should I date a newly divorced man? Should I date him? He's newly divorced or talking about being divorced. Should I date him? Let's talk about this. You know, I got a letter from this young lady the other day, and she met this guy that she thought was a wonderful catch. But then she says in the letter that he's married and he has children. She's single, never had any children. And she wants to know, should she date him because he claims that he's moved out and he's getting a divorce. You know, my initial response to that is hell no. hell no. How you going to go in and get involved with a man who is not free? He's not free on a lot of ends. He's not free. Number one, he's married with children. He has not divorced yet. You know, a lot of men there will, get angry with their wives. She may kick them out. A lot of times they don't just move out. She kicks them out. And then they will proclaim that they are getting a divorce. And so that's your green light to date them. You shouldn't. It's a trap. If he's not already divorced and has been divorced in a while, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be a lot of trouble and heartbreak, and mostly on your end. All right, so let's look at some things that you need to check on before you even think about dating a man who is divorced. A lot of times you'll meet a man that's been divorced maybe 6 months, or he just got his divorce a week or so ago, or you met him on his way to get his divorce. All right. Either way, don't jump into a situation like that too soon. First, let him get his divorce first before you make any move. Don't hold up your life for him. Just let him go until he gets his divorce, and tell him maybe you'll see after he has his divorce. And the thing about that is, think about it. If he's really interested in you, he's going to hang around after his divorce. Okay? He's not going to just disappear. But if he's just looking for somebody to fill the space while he's either going through a divorce or whether he's deciding how to make up with his wife or whatever his situation is, this way you guard yourself by not becoming involved with him. Now, even men who have been divorced for a while, they need time to heal. Don't date a man who just got a divorce. That is a very bad idea for a number of reasons. If he's just come out of a recent divorce, there still may be emotional baggage and unfinished feelings. And even if he seems to be really angry about the divorce, or really angry about something that his wife did or he did or whatever, it takes time to heal it. It takes time to get over it. It takes time to forgive it, whatever happened in his marriage, before he will be suitable to be a decent partner for you. So you got to give him time alone, without you being involved, for him to heal from his own issues. Okay? So don't rush into situations, and don't let a man rush you into situations. Is he still emotionally available? Who knows? No matter what he tells you, he could still be stuck on his wife. Even if it was a breakup, he could find that after a month or so, he wants to go back to his wife. He was just angry then. It was just something that, or maybe he got caught cheating and he never intended on leaving in the first place. Ladies, don't be a stand-in. All right. And when you jump into a situation with a man who's just got out of a divorce or on his way out of a divorce, that's what you are. Just a stand in. Okay. Now, you want to know, why did his divorce happen in the first place? Now, realize that, there are two sides to every story. Now, he'll have a story and she has a story, but you're just going to hear his side of the story. This is something that you ought to listen for. If he blames his wife for everything that went wrong in his marriage, I would question that. I would question that, because no matter what happened in his marriage, he played a part in it. And many times when men tell you these stories, they don't take any part in it. They only tell you, oh, she was a this, and she was too this, and she was too overbearing, she was too bossy. You understand? What was his part in it? If a man is not going to be honest with you and tell you where he went wrong in his relationship, I think you need to step back and look at him further. Understand the reasons for his divorce. If it was due to issues like infidelity, abuse, or dishonesty, that may be a red flag. However, if it was a mutual decision based on growing apart or irreconcilable differences, it could mean he's learned important lessons from the experience. All right, that's what you want. You want a man who's learned from that experience and doesn't look at it like it was just a terrible thing that happened in his life and he didn't learn anything from it. Everything that happens in your life is a learning experience. And if you learn, you heal and you move forward. All right, that's the type of man that you want. How does he talk about his ex? Like I said, if he's always down in his ex, you need to pay attention to that. Pay attention to how he speaks about his ex. If he still holds bitterness or anger, it may indicate unresolved issues that could carry over into a new relationship. All right, ladies, keep your ears open when he starts talking about his ex. And if he never talks about his ex, I think that's also a red flag, because you want to know what happened. You want to hear his side of it, why your last relationship didn't work out. All right, to see what he says. What's his relationship history? Has he been married before? How long was he married? A long marriage might indicate he's someone who values commitment. But it could also mean that there are patterns or habits that might take time to break. All right, now if he was in a long relationship, he was in a long marriage, he and his wife been married 20 years. Okay, people, now you get settled in your ways. All right, he's settled in the way that his wife used to do this. His wife used to do it that way. Or he's settled in what he does. Many times it's difficult to break those patterns when you come into a new relationship, because this person has their own ways. And when you are older, it's harder to be flexible when it comes to that. So you women who are thinking about dating a man who was married for years and years and years, be aware of that he bonded with that woman. And even though maybe she passed or whatever the situation was, he was used to her. All right. And so it's going to take time for that new relationship to get the same bond that he had before. And not to be compared to what he had before. Because you don't want to hear him say, oh, she used to do it this way. Or can you cook this? He's trying to make you her. You don't want that. All right. You want him to be totally over that. And what about his relationship history? If you already see that he has an anger management problem, then you probably can tell what happened in his last relationship. Because if he's already snapping at you or saying things to you out of the way, calling you out of your name, things like that, you can see that that's a pattern. And you don't want to deal with that. You can't change that. It's only going to get worse the more familiar that he becomes with you. Has he had time to figure out what went wrong? A divorce is often a learning process. You'll want to know if he's taken time to reflect on his past to avoid repeating mistakes in the future. All right. So, some men, when they tell you about what happened in the last relationship, you hear them say, I'm not going to do that again. Well, it may be something that you want him to do. So listen to what these people are saying. Don't just assume once you get into the relationship that you can mold it the way that you want it to be. No, take what you see as face value, or not what you fantasize that you'd like it to be. Okay? Now, and your own readiness. Are you ready to be in a relationship with someone who's been through a divorce? This could involve dealing with his ex-partners, or if he has children. You got to figure out, are you willing to deal with that? When I was younger, I ran up on some men who had children, and, unless you are a person who really enjoys children, I enjoy my children, but I'm not trying to take on other children. But there are people who have big hearts and they don't mind doing that. But then, all right, you can consider that. But also, if he has children, remember, those children have a mother somewhere. And if they're small children, the mother is going to be definitely involved in the situation, no matter if he divorced her or not. Okay? And that's something that you need to think about and consider if you're willing to go through those changes, because there can be some changes. Maybe the mother might be jealous of you being in the position to be with him. So she's going to be fighting you the whole time. She's going to be using the kids to get information to bring back to her about you and things like that. So if he had a messy kind of divorce, you could be in the middle of a hailstorm, and there's no reason for you to be there. All right. So you need to think about these things before you get into these situations, these relationships with men who are just divorced, newly divorced. Okay? Now, how does he treat you? Does he treat you with respect, kindness, and care? You want somebody who's going to value you for the individual that you are, not somebody who's coming in to mold you into the individual that they want. Oh, okay? You be careful of that, because like I said, he's already used to being with maybe the woman that he was married to for a while, especially if it was a long marriage. He's already used to that. Now, when you come in, now maybe she passed away or whatever situation, but when you come in, he's still marrying you so you can fill in, because she's no longer there. So it's certain things that she did he's going to be used to, and he may be looking to mold you into that. All right, so you gotta consider whether you're willing, to have your life shaped around to suit him or not. Okay? Now, what about, is there a mutual trust? Trust is the key to any relationship. If he's transparent and trustworthy, that's a positive sign. Okay? So if he is totally open with you and you don't feel like anything is hidden, everything is, all the cards on the table, you understand the situation, and you go in with your eyes open, well then, all right. All right. Just don't go into a situation with these rose-colored glasses on and you really don't see what the situation really is. That's the important part about this. Now I do realize that, there are women who have married men who are newly divorced, and they'll come back and say, oh yeah, it worked out great. Well, good for you. But it's so many of these relationships that don't work out that well because women don't take their times to find out why he's divorced in the first place. What happened? Is he someone who has an issue really committing, which means he may be a cheater. He may be abusive. He may not be trustworthy at all. It could be a lot of things why he's divorced, other than him saying that the wife was no good. Okay? Ladies, be careful. Many of these men, they say they're going to divorce their wives to get you involved with them, and they have no intention of divorcing their wives. Even if they've moved out, they still hang on for some reason. And it just shows that they're not that interested in you. You see, you're just there to fill the void. That's it. Ladies, know your place when you're dealing with men like this. I hope you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.